Hola, buenas tardes, clase. We're getting up to where we have just the month of November left. This class is going to get increasingly harder as we do the last of this work. I wanted to explain to you how you can get some help with completing the verb charts test, which is on Blackboard. Your homework for last week was to work on this practice test, which is right here. Basically, there's a point in time where sometimes you just have to memorize a lot of stuff, and this is one of those times. This practice test is identical to an actual test, which is now on Blackboard. You have until Friday, Friday, November 8th to take this test in Blackboard ETS, Belcher Hall. You'll have 3 attempts on this test. I'm not trying to trick you guys about anything. The questions on the test are identical to this practice test, which is right here. I simply need you guys to memorize this stuff. So I'm giving you 3 attempts. I mean, go ahead and take the practice test, a bunch of times over and over again as a practice, and then go down, say, this Friday even. Maybe you could go down, Friday, November 1st, and take your first attempt on the actual test in Belcher. If you don't like your score, you'll have all of next week to get in 2 more attempts. I just need you guys to learn it. It's a lot of memorization. Okay. So my first video, I introduced the imperfect tense, but I didn't tell you much about the preterite. Here's how, first of all, where can you find the answers to put in these blanks? The conjugated forms of the verb leer, to read, and caerse, to fall down, which is also reflexive. One thing you can do is click and highlight this verb, Control C, copy. Go to, My Spanish Lab. Look at this thing called verb chart. Type the infinitive form of a verb in here. I'm going to paste the verb caerse. I notice sometimes that it'll automatically find it in the list, and sometimes it doesn't see it, so you have to go find it alphabetically. So caerse means to fall. Over here, select the tense. Last semester, you learned the present tense of verbs. This semester, you're now working on preterite or imperfect. You'll need preterite help right now. Here's all the answers of how you say, I fell down, you fell down, he, she, él, ella, usted fell down, etc. So these are the conjugated forms of the verb. The one I don't teach is this one, caísteis. That's used in Spain only. So you see 6 forms here, but I'll only ask you for 5. Una, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco. I skipped this one. And that's true for all these verbs. So utilize your verb chart in My Spanish Lab for those verb conjugated forms. Also, as a reminder, what is the purpose of all this that I'm making you memorize this stuff for? It's not, I don't want you to just be memorizing gibberish and it makes no sense to you. So I put what these verbs mean up here. I'm making you tell me that you know that caerse means, somewhere up here, to fall, to fall down, and as well as the rest of these verbs. So then when you conjugate them, you know that that means I fell down. The first one here would be me caí, just like we saw with an accent mark on the I, and then, te caíste, and so on. And that there's an equivalent of an imperfect form of the same verb, although I didn't put it on here. And this verb here is a little strange, haber. It's an ER verb. So in the imperfect tense, is it an aba or ia verb? It's an ia verb. So you take your stem HAB, put an I with an accent mark, which I'd have to copy and paste, and I can't do right now. And it's ia with an accent mark on the I right there. It means there was. This is from the verb, haber is like H-A-Y-I, there is. But in the preterite, it would be, hubo. H's are silent in Spanish. So this is a weird verb. You can't conjugate it in a lot of forms. You can only conjugate it in one form. In the present tense, H-A-Y, I, like what's in the classroom, K-I, en el salón de clase. Hay un escritorio, there is a writing desk. Here's there was in 2 different tenses, the preterite and the imperfect. Hubo, había. Again, the point is for you guys to understand how this vocabulary works, so that when I ask you to talk to me in Spanish about the past tense, you'll know how to say I went with the verb ir, to go, or I was, I said, I got up, and etc. Watch these videos that I'm posting in Blackboard. This other guy, a Professor Jason or something, made. I really like his videos, and I think they can be very helpful to you. All right, That's all for now. Good luck. Buena suerte. Adios. Oh, before we leave, here's the most important pages that also where you can find the verb forms for the pretérito and the imperfect. Essentially, capítulo 7, chapter 7, which is the green volume 2 of your textbooks. These are the important pages that have these verb forms for the pretérito. Notice that the preterite tense has a tremendous different numbers of forms to work on, especially irregular forms. Capítulo 8 only has one page that you need to look at. It has the entire imperfect tense verb forms on it. That's how much easier the imperfect tense is. This means traveling of trips. Viaje means trips. So when you talk about your traveling experience in the past tense, that's what the topic for chapter 7 is. And chapter 8 means childhood. The word niño means child or something. So la niñez means your childhood, and that's a tense you would use the imperfect past tense in frequently. And while I got you here, I'll just mention for all those who you gotten confused about verbs like poder, which are stem change in the present tense, poder and puedo, the O change to UE. These stem changes like this that are in the present tense will not necessarily occur in the past tense at all. So don't trust to what you had learned in the present tense as far as stem change, O to UE and things like that. Completely different rules may apply for the preterite on these pages and the imperfect. Okay, muy bien. Ciao.